All right, there we go. Audio is working. Hello and welcome to the week 4 of the Gladiator League. I'm Mojo Powell, joined as always by Fel. How you doing tonight, Fel?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Excited for this one. Belmonts versus Vice. This battle for fourth place here. Halfway into the season. Should be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. We're jumping sort of back up the bracket as we were down towards the bottom of the standings last week on stream with a couple of teams looking to get their first wins. Now this week with GCCE Belmonts, versus Miami Vice. These are two teams, both 2-1, looking to, as you said, secure fourth place and try to make a lock on playoffs. I do believe one win here for either team puts them pretty comfortably in playoff contention.
Yeah, it does, and this is kind of where you want to be at. Now you could still, screw it up and go 0-3 for the rest of the way and lose that position. But this is also, a team that you're going to be tiebreakered with too. So like if you guys end up with the same record and same wins, losses, right now Miami Vice has one extra loss. Belmonts has actually 2-0 to series, and Vice actually lost their last week. So they're actually on the downward trajectory, whereas Belmont, 2-1 and came back and had a really decisive game 3 last week. So, they're both trending in opposite directions. And, this is not just a battle for one place. It's like I said, at the end of the season, you guys could have the same record and you want the tiebreaker against the teams in your division.
Yeah, absolutely. That sort of tiebreaker stuff does make these matches matter so much more. And also, like, playing against a team in your same exact scoreline, right? Going up to 3-1 versus going 2-2 is a huge difference in score. It's like really like changes the standings quite a lot. And especially as you said, Belmont's coming off of a win, trying to keep the momentum going, whereas like Vice sort of has to start from scratch and try and pick up the momentum that they had in their first 2 weeks. Now, I will say getting 2 wins in a row in your first couple weeks, you can treat week 3 as like, oh, it's a blip. It's fine. Whatever happens. We'll bounce back and think that they're a stronger team. But hopefully we'll be getting a good match. I mean, these teams should be fairly evenly matched.
Yeah, and in a league like this, momentum is everything. You're not playing against, other master players or diamond players and challengers where, you're really having to skill them or anything. This is all about vibes. This is about team cohesion, everything else. So it really does matter when you're on streaks, win or loss. Like you have to be able to reset, but also carry momentum from game to game, from series to series. So it shows in your practices, in your scrims, in your coaching, your VOD reviews, everything. So mental toughness in this league is paramount to anything else. As we're
absolutely
getting into the draft, we see Belmont spanning out the Ivern and Nocturne away from Trey. Soul Muncher, and we see the Yone and Amumu banned away on Vice.
Mumu, a good call. Look, I'm going to say it here. We're going to say it a million times throughout the course of this series. We want hard engage. We want hard engage go buttons. This is what Fel and I like from these team comps. Amumu, a really good ban on the red side. I think Amumu's going to be one of the stronger first picks you can have in this league, especially if your jungler plays it. Mel going to be the third ban coming through for Vice, and Sivir the third from GCC. Belmont's now looking for the first pick over here on the blue side. What are the champs that are up that we're looking at?
For Vice, obviously the Jinx. You know what? I should have said Jinx like right away before that came through. Jinx in this league is everything. Once you hit the 3 kill mark, it's kind of like the same thing as a Yasuo 10 death power spike. 3 kills on a Jinx. Once she gets that, whether it's 30 minutes in the game or 3 minutes in the game, that's pretty much game over. Especially if your comp is very good at disengaging and protecting that, presidential style carry. So. I like the Seraphine, especially after the Mel ban, and the Wukong to try to break through, get some good angles and get on top of this Jinx. These two champions work so well together. Wukong gets into the back with his clone. You can use his clone to push your ult even further, and the Melio on the other side. So now I want to see some good tanks, some good frontline for this Jinx, for this Melio to give agents into, and that's exactly what they do. I love the pick, the Volibear.
Yeah, we've seen Volibear be really effective in this league. I believe we saw a bit in week 2. I love the Seraphine pick. Love it with the Wukong. That is the hard engage we want, especially coming out of the jungle. Smolder now going to be the pick, potentially the 80 carry. I was looking at maybe like an Ashe pick. I think Ashe Seraphine is always the kind of combo you want. But look, if you feel more comfortable sitting back scaling on a Smolder, and now to be fair, it could be Smolder mid. But if you feel more comfortable sitting back and scaling on a Smolder, that's totally fine. I'm happy with that with the Seraphine.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, Ash is good too. You know, depending on what they end up picking here, Ash can be negated by a couple different champions. But you know, you got the big one out of the way, and I actually expected to see Ash with the Mel ban. But Smolder kind of the same thing. You know, his W coming back at full
Yeah.
speed. You know, hits all 5 people as they're trying to engage. The ult also can get knocked back. So good ban when you're picking champs like this. It seems like Vice have an idea of what they want to do, and they you know, they made it happen for them, as we see the solo laners getting banned. Oh, my favorite. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second, but we get the Garriton, the Aurelia ban, and then Belmonts banning out the Urgot and the that's it.
I must admit, oh my god, we are locking Cassante in Gladiator League.
I hope that's a quit mid now.
Look, Cassante's a great champion. I'm a Cassante fan. I play Cassante. I just don't know how effective it's going to be with Nico coming through as the final pick. I like Nico. I like Nico a lot. We'll see where this Quinn is going. Potentially top lane. They do now have R5 if they want to flex it to the mid lane. Otherwise, we'll see what Lucifer... Ooh, Galio mid. Okay, Quinn top. Wow.
Okay, I don't know. I think the Quinn pick is very spicy. It is my favorite champion. I have a ton of games on her. Playing her into Cassante is almost as bad as playing into Malphite. So picking that before and giving them an opportunity to pick Malphite, pick Cassante, both of those champions are absolutely atrocious to play Quinn into. And especially with Cassante, once he has his thing, if he sees you coming into E, and he puts his W, you're basically stuck with him, and it is a nightmare. So we'll see if Miami Vice can, you know, make use of this.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do with the pick as we are hopping out of the Rift for game one here. And now, Fel, I have to say, I want to say this may be our first fight as a co-casting duo. I absolutely hate Quinn because I am a Renekton player.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know. I play her ADC. I play her mid, jungle, and top. I play her everywhere.
Jungle.
Oh yeah, Quinn jungle. There was a time where it was actually a thing. But okay, so so it's Belmont that took the okay. So well, now I'm rooting for Belmont.
How quickly our allegiances change.
Yes. Whoever has the Quinn, that's who I'm rooting for. Unfortunately, it's Fearless, so we won't see this 3 in a row.
Minions have spawned.
But yeah, I really like the pick until I saw the Cassante. If they maybe thought that was a Volibear top, it's good in a volley, but unfortunately, this is going to be a rough matchup for Zeus. Lucifer does have a tendency. I do know a lot of Miami Vice from and Lucifer does have a tendency to get bullied or carry. He's very, very strong on this Cassante. He has a very good record with it. But if he falls behind, he has a tendency to basically throw the game. So we'll see if he has worked on it. You know, Vice can play around it and do well with it.
We accept a little bit of coin flipping here in the Gladiator League. That's a-okay. And if you trust in his Cassante, I trust in his Cassante. We'll have to see how those mechanics come through. Now, looking at overall team comps, I was a bit worried for the Belmonts with the Quinn pick. I know Quinn dominant in lane, but with the sort of team fighting focus of the rest of the picks, I wasn't quite sure how it was going to work out. But the Galio, I feel like really rounds it out for me. How are you feeling about these team comps matching up into one another?
Outside of me just glad they picked Quinn, I think that Miami Vice has a much better comp as long as they can protect Jinx. If they can keep Jinx on the backside, they do have the Volibear, obviously the Cassante, the frontline, everything that I said I wanted to see once the Quinn was picked. I don't really understand Nico too much. I feel like Galio, once they realize that Nico's not there, he can basically negate her ult and turn it around on her. I always love a Galio, especially in these leagues. And then the amount of crowd control on the side of Miami Vice is a little lacking. But yeah, I'd have to go with Miami Vice. I'd have to go with Miami Vice's comp on this one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I do think a lot of their engage will fall on the Nico, right? And like that's a champ that requires some creative thinking, requires you finding interesting angles, right? It's not a traditional like front to back engager, or it doesn't function the best as a front to back engager. And I do agree. I also like the Vice comp a little more, but I think this Galio R5 was a really
for a second. He'll be back.
I'm back. I'm back.
Okay. So you're saying Galio, you really like Galio's really...
Yeah, I think Galio's a great R5 here. Seems fine in the lane. I think rounds out the team comp like good on the engage with Wukong, good at protecting the Smolder against the potential Nico engage, right? It's going to work out well as we're going to see a bit of a grab down here on the bot side. Noto walked down into the river, not going to get caught by the taunt though, and the Crab did go to Soul Muncher before he was forced to retreat. Bot lane taking a bit of an aggressive trade, losing a bit of their health. Are going to have to back for the side of Miami Vice, but overall, no harm, no foul for either team.
Right, and you know, it's gonna basically even out on the grubs here for the Belmonts, and so they should be happy with this. Their bot lane is actually having priority over the Jinx and Helio, which, you know, usually as a counter, you're kind of like back side every time, but there's a little bit of a good
That did about 0 damage.
Yeah, that's get used to that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the. I know they went with the electrocute. I kind of would have rather have seen the blue footwork into static shield. You know, make them come to you and just create havoc everywhere you go. But it will be interesting once there's a Thornmail, or at least the. On Lucifer, this is going to be a very, very rough. I'd love to see Soul Muncher come up here on the Rolly Bear and just get Cassante ahead.
Yeah, I would imagine the way you win this matchup as the Quinn is by doing kind of what we see happening here, although it's not quite working out. Is that like Cassante is very mana hungry in these early levels, and if you can force out those abilities by taking these trades and then like poking him down with autos, maybe you can make him take some unfortunate recalls. But he seems fine to just sit back and grab the XP.
Yeah, the shield negates a lot. Once he gets, you know, the anti-heal, it's gonna hurt a lot, especially if Quinn goes for profane instead of some sort of, you know, healing. Basically, what you want to do is you want to ignore him, and unfortunately, Quinn's not good at proxying. So you're gonna have to ignore him, and then you're gonna have to call out and make plays around the map. And so we'll see if they can do that. You do have a lot of global presence with the Galio. Quinn can show up anywhere.
Yeah, every calling on a ward, both top laners find it take the straight. Although actually, Dave's will choose to stay, cancels Lucifer's recall as well. Up in mana, both are level 6 now though. Lucifer actually going for a bit of an all-in. Bounce back from the Quinn. Gotta keep trading. They are perfectly even in CS. As a little bit of trade on the bot side as well. Helium Bamboo, she was forced to use both her flash and her heal to get out of that situation. No summoners expended from the side of Miami Vice. It looks like so that may just be a dragon taking the engage onto the Wukong here. Samurai forced to W out. Clone gone already. Bamboo taken so low before the fight. Buckbeat is first on the roam though. Heroic entrance coming in. Gonna knock the Soul Muncher, but can they find him? They can't. Really good traps from the Jinx. Trey a little low on mana down. We'll see if either of these teams wants to start up the Drake. Health lead slightly in favor of GCC now that the Seraphine has healed up with the plants and her own W.
Yeah, and Wukong's gonna get the cryo on this Scuttle, so he will also go up. As you see, Lucifer gets tier 2 boots. Quinn going for the Tiamat up here, and then the mid laner obviously got a little bit of this little thing. So once he gets his Hollow Radiance, it's hard to kill. So we'll see how it ends up going. It's basically going to do 12 to 13 damage with every odd down.
Hey, it's more than nothing. We'll have to take 12 to 13 now, and the hope is that he will do more than 12 to 13 to the rest of the team if he can get onto them. Now, in terms of this dragon fight, we've actually backed in the river for GCC. Yeah, unfortunate time to DC, but I'm back. Tons of wards in the river for GCC is what I was saying, but both junglers with only camps up on the top side meant Soul Muncher content to go clear his top side camp, so Samurai is going to start up the Drake here now on the Sheen power spike for the Wukong. Feels safe with his pushing bot lane to start this Drake, should be relatively uncontested.
Yeah, and they're doing the right thing, making a cross-map play. I really like this out of Vice. You know, you kind of lost the 3 on 4 skirmish. You didn't give any kills away, which is really good. Unfortunately, you didn't get any kills, even though they were so low. But, you know, transitioning over here, you lost the dragon coming in. I would have liked to have seen Moby White right back to lane and keep it protected, but with therapy on the dragon, there's not really too much of an issue there. But as you know, they're figuring out the plant, and it's going to go back to lane. And this is actually a pretty slow game as far as kills and tempo.
Yeah, it's really surprising. We don't get this a lot in Gladiator. We don't get time to breathe, time to discuss team comps. There's no time to breathe here. All out in for Cassante. Zeus taken so low, not forced to burn the flash in. Will use it. Flash in from Lucifer. First blood for the Cassante in the top lane. I'm sorry for ever doubting him. As you see, a bit of engagement to Buckby here. Gonna flash under his tower. Actually ease back in. Takes a little help from Soul Muncher. Bamboo is now here. She can heal up the Galio. Galio should be just fine. Lucifer with the big plays in the top lane.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's a rough one. Yep. It's either him or Malphite. They're the 2 champions that you don't want to see. And here you see onto the replay, Lucifer actually going in here and gets the W on it.
Yeah.
That is the worst. As soon as every time that you get that, that's almost a guaranteed kill, especially now that Quinn is flashless. So really well played by Lucifer on this Cassante to go in there, get the solo kill, and at the same time, burn a couple things out of the Galio in the mid lane and get some presence around the map. I like what they're doing here.
Yeah, but honestly, just a really, really clean kill. Doesn't result in much of a CS lead for Lucifer, but won't matter. Getting even more armor, just gonna be even tankier, even harder for Quinn to find an advantage in that side lane. She's pretty much never gonna get one. Now they look for a play mid lane. They didn't find it, but it was an okay cross map to make. Sort of, again, no harm, no foul. Next dragon not up for 3 minutes, so nothing to really fight over. We may still have a bit of a slower game, but I do want to call attention to this bot matchup. Well, maybe not. Let's see if we have a bit more of a fight. Nope, Q3 are gonna miss. Although he's okay to just chase him down, wow, onto the tower. But again, calling a little attention to the bot matchup, Smolder actually up CS in the lane, which is a little rare for Smolder in some of these matchups. But I guess into the Jinx with the Seraphine, a little lane bullying, gonna be up a lot of CS after catching this wave. Really content to just stack up.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what we were saying earlier on, is that you really, really want to just, you know, get the stacks, and in most older lanes, you are on the back foot. You're trying not to die. They usually have some sort of issue. But both of these teams, their offense wanted a scaling threat into the back, so really, really well done for the side of Belmonts to just sort of take this, what they're giving them, and scale up. And, you know, this is going to be a tale of the 80s in the going to be protected and who's going to get all of the kills.
Zeus looking for a little roam now with the Valor. Not able to find anything in mid lane, so gonna come back up. Missed 1 to 2 minions of XP for that roam. I guess worth a look. Not gonna find anything off it though. Lucifer fine to keep trading these. Zeus low on mana, gonna get clapped by the Cassante in the 1v1.
Yeah, low on mana. You got these symbiotic souls. You know, that's the whole point of it. Yeah, Buckby is about to get one out.
Yeah, might be in trouble. Good. Ult on top of Galio. Gonna get stunned up by the Nico as well. Pop Blossom over the top. Doesn't quite do the damage, but there it is. The ultimate will work. Samurai's here, though. Catches him with the Cyclone. Gets the trade kill. 1 for 1. Both mid laners down.
Yeah, that was really, really well done by Samurai to come back and make something good out of that. As a Galio, when you don't have flash, it's really, really easy to get caught out, especially with how much Soul Muncher has paid attention to this mid lane. That's like his 3rd, 4th time there.
Yeah.
You know, they basically said, okay, top is going to do its thing. We actually need to win this, and they're just allowing them to do basically whatever they want up top, which means
a little bit of an unfortunate trade for Zeus. Will get out. A lot of movement speed again with the symbiotic souls. Should be fine, but it looked like maybe there was almost an all-out angle over the wall for Lucifer. Didn't quite find it. I do want to say also, though, despite the kill in that mid lane matchup, Buckby up now 10 CS when he catches this wave. Might go back up. It was close to 20 before that kill on the Galio.
Yeah, and Galio just it's easy kind of for him to be able to get the TS, Hall of Radiance is completed, so
Yeah, God.
has a lot of shove, has a lot of innate damage. He's one of those tanks that just does way more damage than you think, and we're gonna get.
Yeah, Drake up in 15 seconds. Samurai W's in, but doesn't have the Cyclone to follow it up, so maybe a little overextended. Chunk down to half, forced to go back. Nono does have the ultimate there, though. Catches two. Flash in from so much. You're going to get the stun on the first one. Galio still no flash, no ultimate up. There, that is a 2 kills going over the way of Miami Vice. The double kill to Noto in the mid lane is going to secure them their first dragon, as well as the beat of Warfare. Miami Vice with a big play.
Yeah, and that's just, you just get a little bit overzealous, think that you're going to have like an easy, like, oh, we'll just, get in here. But when you use your clone offensively, it's almost like using your flash offensively. You want to make sure that you have the kill down, and they didn't. And they lose not just 2 kills, they lose the feats of Warfare, they lose the dragon. So now one more objective, neutral objective for Miami Vice, and they're going to have the upgraded boots, which is going to be absolutely huge on Casante with the shield for the armor boots, and then same thing for Volibear, and then also Jinx. Everything is going to be so huge on this, and the game will scale.
Ooh, here it is, all up. Doesn't quite find the wall, but it doesn't matter. Lucifer already used the flash, not able to find Zeus yet. Actually airborne for the second. Oh my god, hits the third and Topo strikes. It just doesn't matter. Takes up the entire Wukong ulti, both parts. The Casante is too strong as Buckbeak caught out in the middle lane a little bit. Nice E jukes over the zap. Has flash if he needs it. Totally safe, but Lucifer gonna get to push this in. That tower looking pretty low as well. They have 3 grubs. They could potentially move some more people up here, try to take the tower down.
Yeah, as you see, Casante just teleported to bot lane. I guess he doesn't want Smolder to get any more advantages. But Smolder's a little bit easier to play into Casante than Quinn. You don't have a jump that is going to put you in melee range, and it's a lot harder to counter. So I don't really understand the move there. You're still going to give away free stacks, and I guess they really wanted to be able to push this mid lane. That is very Rip Arrow going over the side of the fight, so now they will have.
Yeah, Trey taunts it up, takes a little bit of damage, but there's really just no follow-up for the Galio at the moment. Galio is going to need the Wukong behind him if he wants to engage in any of these fights, and Samurai obviously not there. No ultimate from that top lane fight. It's now Noto teleporting up to the top lane to catch this wave. They're allocating their lanes well. They're not dropping a ton of waves. I do agree that the Casante TP bot lane was a bit interesting, trying to match the Smolder. I will say, a dragon going to Miami Vice as it did about 2 minutes ago. Ooh, just barely doesn't find. But the dragon going to Miami Vice, really big in terms of that scaling battle, right? If you want to defeat this Smolder, if you want the scaling on your side, you're going to need to stack some dragons.
Yeah, 100%. And depending on what it is, I can't tell right now. I think it's Cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, good thing for either of these teams, because if that was Infernal or Mountain, then we would be
yeah, looking for an engage. Samurai actually goes back in with the second hit of the Cyclone. That's not going to work out well for him. All out brings it back. The Chakra with top from Seraphine. Lots of damage. A Slifer flashing forward. Seraphine picks up the shutdown onto the Casante, but Soul Muncher likes these fights. Gets a double kill onto the Seraphine, but Zeus is here. Got here with the Valor. A lot of damage. Gets the E shield, but he will fall at the end. Shut down over to the Quinn. GCCB fights back in the fight. 2 for 2 in the bot lane skirmish, but this mid lane tier 1 is going to go over to Trey. Top lane tier 1 going to go over to Nico as well. Miami Vice, they have faltered in the fight, but they're taking wins all over the map.
Yeah, that's just kind of like you're dealing with another global. That's what Quinn brings to the table. And she can be anywhere really quickly. And now that the Symbiotic Souls have been finished, she's going to get to lanes really fast, even without backing. But the Ghost that you get when you do back is absolutely insane. It takes like less than 13 seconds to get from base to the bot lane, and so they're just gonna have to be careful, kind of like how the Belmonts have overextended in a couple of these fights. Miami Vice is gonna have to make sure that they're not doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also always the threat of the Galio, right? Especially when he's in the mid lane. He can roam up, he can get that ulti on top. So at any given moment, there could be 5 Belmonts where it looked like potentially only 2 to 3. But they are going to allocate these lanes back down bot. These mid laners going to stay bot with the dragon spawning in a couple seconds. TP almost up for Lucifer. Will be able to join the fight for this 3rd dragon if he wants to. As you see Buckby dashing a little bit. Moby White is behind him, but I don't think there's enough damage to really take down the Galio in this matchup. He's going to be able to walk it out to the tower.
You know, he's got to be careful, because that's a couple of times now that he has gone like way too far in, and if he keeps doing that, as these teams, as Nodo starts to get some items, as the Jinx gets a little bit more damage, it's going to backfire really, really hard, and he has the potential to end up throwing these games if he keeps doing this.
Yeah, and the prio they got from that trade, as well as the Jinx pushing in the mid lane, allowed them to get prio and vision control of the river in advance of this Cloud Dragon spawning. They have 4 members here. K'Sante can teleport if he wants. The Belmonts looking like they're not going to contest, content to shove out these waves and say, hey, we'll fight for the next one. We need the Smolder to get a couple more stacks. Yeah,
they're nowhere near the soul point here. Not only do you want stacks, but really that tower there.
Yeah, might catch him on the way out. Almost running in, not going to find him. Samurai going to take the blast cone over the wall. Slifer out safe. I did see that is 185 stacks on the Smolder, so get pretty close to that 225. Will probably have it before the next dragon fight if they're looking to contest, but they still don't need to contest the next dragon. They're safe to give one more if they want. As Herald spawned up mid lane, they're still making plays over the map. They want these standing towers down. This tier 2 tower will probably fall to the Jinx here. Samurai is on the way. Jinx gonna get excited, but didn't get the tower in time. Galio over the top of the Heroic Engine's Trey falls immediately to the Smolder. Zeus is here too. This is exactly what we said. Out of nowhere, 5 Belmonts members collapse and they pick up 2 kills in the mid lane.
Yeah, and that's going to be a free Otacon unless Nodo and K'Sante can make some sort of hero play here. But yeah, Zeus coming in on the Quinn really quickly. This Wukong Seraphine combo almost got the Melio as well. That's how far that thing travels. It hits the clone, it hits all the people, and then it just keeps extending. So really well done. I really like the all-in trigger comp that they have as soon as they want to. The follow-up will be there. Interestingly enough, they did not go for the Otacon, so they will go IPSC Otacon throw at 22. But I do think that was theirs if they wanted it. Intent to push out 2 towers, get some of this global gold back, you know, reset, and they can be anywhere they want in the next 20 seconds. So I do think the next fight is going to be over Otacon.
Absolutely. Just because there wasn't a 20-minute Otacon throw, Fel, doesn't mean there can't be a 21 or 22-minute Otacon throw from either of these teams. It is always possible at any moment in the game. As we see, actually, Miami Vice going to start it up, taking advantage of the reset timers from the Belmonts. The Belmonts can get here pretty quick if they want. Otacon dropping not incredibly fast. Jinx does a good amount of damage, but not on 2 items yet. Slifer is here on 2 items. Samurai and Zeus here as well. Ultimate not quite up with the Galio, but he's TPing in. This is a full 5 on 5. Although actually K'Sante no way to match. Zeus gets in tons of damage onto Trey. Buckby in on the back. Takes down the Melio. Gonna take down the Jinx as well. The flanking Galio with the double kill. Otacon, gets smited down by Soul Buncher at the last moment. But they are all gonna fall for it. Miami Vice overextend on the Otacon. It's just as we said. There had to be a throw.
Yeah, they are absolutely lucky. There is no other word that you could say that Soul Buncher had the wherewithal to stay into that long enough and actually win that smite battle, because K'Sante still being top and Nodo on this Nico still staying mid while you're calling for the Otacon could have been absolutely disastrous. If you would have given the 3 kills plus the Otacon over, Soul Buncher may have saved the game here with that play.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a huge smite secure. Hard to do as Volibear into Wukong too, right? Q smite from Wukong, a bit stronger than anything Volibear has, especially he wasn't even in melee range, right? That he was like max range smiting that. But huge team fight from the Belmont. Smolder, if he hasn't hit his stacks yet, he will in about a minute. This Smolder is huge, 30 CS up on the Jinx, up 2 levels in this matchup as well.
So close.
Oh, 223.
Yeah, he's way ahead, and
There it
that's
is.
exactly what you want to see. And Slifer on this shoulder has actually done really, really well. A lot of mechanical plays that he's made happen. Taking opportunities in this league too, like getting out of sticky situations, staying with matches, and allowing his Wukong to not just save him, but turn the fight around as Quinn comes in on the bot lane earlier on around minute 14 we saw. And
Yeah, and he's
could be a definite Wukong here moving forward.
he's not playing scared either. We saw him flashing forwards in that bot lane 2v2 earlier, right? And still getting out alive with the E. Like, he knows his limits, and he knows that he's going to have to be the one dealing a lot of the damage to carry these fights. I will say I worry for Miami Vice. They had a strong start to the game. Cassante has been doing really, really well on that side lane, grabbed the tier 2 and is still split pushing up onto the tier 3. But I don't know if they're going to win many team fights anymore, especially without that Cassante. I do think Lucifer needs to group if they want to take these fights.
Yeah, he completely negates their quick, right? Like, and that is something that cannot be understated. That he needs to completely keep her out because he has to.
Ooh, Slifer might be caught on mid. Flash in, or flash out, excuse me. Nico not able to get the kill though. Mob over the top, and Seraphine is here to protect him. The Smolder will live, and then Nico will fall, and they get the counter engage. Double kill the Slifer. As we said, he is clean on the Smolder. Buckby flashes forward, not quite able to find the taunt, but they are going to move down into the river, pick up their second dragon.
Yeah, this is a game of tempo right now. This is a game of momentum, and so tempo right now is on the side of GCCE. They've been, really just playing into the perfect, waiting for them to engage. They're getting out with just enough health, just enough, utility to turn the fight around as soon as the Wukong shows up. Actually, Helium Bamboo on that sort of missed her ult, but it was kind of Galio's misplay on that, where if you were to look at it, she actually put it on him and
Yeah, all out onto the Seraphine. This Cassante is huge. Lucifer bringing the fire into the GCCE team. Flash forward, hits the third, and Topo strikes as well. Zeus might be in trouble, able to flash out. Oh, but the Super Mega Death Rocket does enough damage for Lucifer to pick up the kill. Slifer is here now, though. Does a lot of damage. He takes. Oh, but Lucifer is out of there. Soul Muncher comes racing through, and this Cassante picking up a 1v like 4 double kill is exactly what Miami Vice needed to come back into this game.
yeah, and then just the complete opposite, as soon as you get a lead or you get a good play, just waiting for you to make your mistake. One thing that I do like is that Belmonts actually, instead of chasing with the Galio on the back end of that lost fight, did pull back, and even if you lose the Baron here, you don't lose the Baron plus 5. You only lose the 2 because healing gets caught out. So not the worst thing that could have happened, but definitely not anything good either.
Yeah, not the end of the world. The Baron didn't end up going down. The 3-man contest was enough to keep them off of it. They are scared of this Smolder in the moment, and they know that as soon as Quinn respawns, she is at the fight immediately. As we see, she has arrived there now. 2 dragons to 2. Next one's not up for 3 minutes. The Baron is here, but neither team's going to be willing to start this with all 5 members alive. Probably just going to push out some more waves. You see, maybe a catch on the Soul Muncher. Blinded's going to ult back in, stun up on the Buckbeat. Gets the healing down. The Redemption comes in to save the Galio. Charm onto the Xante, but he is so tanky, standing in the middle of 4 like it's nothing. All out onto the Galio, and he does so much damage. Just back by 4, and Nico finds 4 with the ult move, with the Cyclones in. Wukong with the counter engage. 1 kill to 1 so far, but Slifer is healthy on the Smolder, willing to keep taking the fight. The rest of the health bar is quite low, though. Val are going to come back in. We'll see if Zeus wants to find another pick onto the Volibear in the mid lane, or Volibear gets out. I believe will get out. An explosive-looking team fight, but only results in a 1-for-1.
They need a Black Cleaver on Wukong as soon as they can get it. Lucifer is so tanky, just taking all of that damage. He has the Thornmail finish, he has the Iceborne Gauntlet finish, and now he actually has the Hollow Radiance as well. Yeah, also Wukong getting his second item completed before doing his boost. He does end up getting the Merc Treads eventually, but yeah, just a little bit of a sloppy engage. The Smolder completely missed his ult. Helium Bamboo on Seraphine actually missed her ult. So only ended up hitting the Lucifer, but yeah, they need an answer for this Lucifer really, really quickly.
Yeah, the cozy campfire there keeps Moby White alive. It looked like we were maybe going to trade support pickoffs in the jungle, but Moby White manages to stay. I was going to say earlier that what the Belmonts have been doing a really good job of is not getting baited into using the Wukong to engage, but staying and playing their comp the same way that Vice should be playing theirs, right? As a protect the president kind of thing, using the Wukong ult as counter engage, using the heroic entrance as counter engage, and protecting the Smolder. Where they go wrong is when they get a little hyphy. They try and punish too hard, or they move forwards instead of punishing overextensions. But not going to do it in that fight. Again, it was only 1-for-1. The Smolder still deathless, 260 CS, 4-0 and 4, has hit the 3-item power spike before this next dragon fight. Jinx has not. Trey has been relatively silent in this game, right? Not able to find the team fights, not able to find the kills that he so desperately needs to ramp up.
Yeah, I know they've been doing a really good job of just making sure that doesn't happen. Interestingly enough, you know, the rocket earlier on when Lucifer did his 1v4 was enough to get Lucifer the kill, you know. So unfortunate for Trey when you're on the Jinx and you really, really want, you know, to get to those 3 kills as we were talking about earlier. It's a fake number, but it's real. Yeah, but still keeping up on CS, still going to be into the backline, still going to be doing a ton of damage. The Kraken and ID still. I love that. I would have loved it. I would have liked to do the green halls or go. Yeah, I would have liked that. I don't think.
I agree.
Kraken board is a big anymore. So.
Yuntal start tends to be the standard for Jinx nowadays, and not seeing it is a little surprising. Trading blows up the top lane. Both top laners. Ooh, actually not going to reset. Lucifer wants to stay. Really wants to use his split push pressure in the top lane. He's been doing this very, very well this game, using the threat of his teleport to push down side lanes ahead of team fights. As oh my god, actually gets a solo kill on the top side of the map, and he's gonna really push into that tier 3 now. This is huge for Miami Vice. Found an angle to go all out right before Zeus had flash up, it seems like. Pushes down the tier 3 by himself. He's gonna move down onto the inhibitor as his team takes the dragon.
Yeah, and Belmont's actually, once again, doing a very, very smart thing here. They're actually they realize, hey, our queen is down, we need to take this, but we are going to see the teleport get canceled by the Galio, and now it's going to be a 3v4.
Yeah, can they get out? It seems like they can. Slifer over the wall with the E. Cassante wasn't able to join up with the team. As you said, the teleport did get canceled. Could now move in and flank them in the jungle, but seems content to just take the dragon. They're actually going to start up the Baron themselves. Smolder taken really low by the Baron fight. Seraphine almost on a reset, doesn't quite complete the recall. Cassante, I believe, is still stuck in the middle of 3. Finds a kill in the 1v3. Lucifer is absolutely unstoppable. He will trade his shutdown goal for the Baron as it will go down. Samurai is into the backline with the Cyclone, not able to steal the dragon, and Trey healed up just enough, flashes out, gets the barrier in time. Walking back in might be a little dangerous. Flash in from Zeus, grabs the kill onto Trey. 2 down for the side of Miami Vice, 2 down for the side of the Belmonts, but the Baron did go over to Vice. As you see Moby White, oh, in a lot of trouble. That is a huge electrocute proc from Zeus. Does a lot of damage. 3 Barons down now. Only Nico and Volibear will escape with the buff.
Yeah, that was a really good chase. I was actually kind of concerned, but Volibear overshoots his ultimate just a little bit as Quinn is allowed to get on top of Trey, and then Moby White, a little bit of a greedy teleport there. I know it's only 4 seconds, but you did see them barreling down and coming your way. Just a little bit of a misplay by the Melio. But still, overall, this Lucifer, they need an answer for him as soon as they can get it, because if not, he's going to continue to do that. He was beating Galio one-on-one, he beat Quinn one-on-one, he's going to beat Smolder one-on-one, so that means that you're going to have to send 2, maybe 3 at a time to deal with him, and you're going to get every other objective that you want. All you have to do is say, go Lucifer, and we'll take care of it.
Yeah, level 18, 7, 2, and 1 with 4 completed items and boots. Almost full build on the Cassante. Huge, huge performance from Lucifer, no matter the result of the game. The Zeus going in, but maybe a little overextended. Didn't know Soul Muncher was in the bush. Will fall to the Nico at the last second there. That's a risky play to go for. Not going to get too punished, though. There's no objectives up on the map right now. They're just going to use their Baron push, see if they can get into this bot tier 2, but Wukong going to do a good job of defending the wave.
Yeah, he can, but it's unfortunate now because he's gonna get his entire jungle taken away if they want to. Soul Muncher's looking like he wants to go after the bot lane instead of taking thing. But you know, you get to this point, and this should be easy decision making matrix here, which is just take the jungle, make sure that they don't get anything, keep them pressed, keep all three lanes pushing, and smother them. Don't give them any opportunity to come back to the game. They're doing this part.
Yeah, he's doing all he can. He is absolutely drawing pressure in this top lane. As here he goes, W out. He will fall pretty quickly to 4 people. Don't think he can escape this one quite yet. Will burn down to the smolder eventually. He's still alive. All out back on the clone, unfortunately. Will take him down. Slifer is dominating, but they are losing towers all over the other side of the map. Is Zeus taking a lot of damage. Jinx excited off the turret kill. Zeus jumps back in, but gonna fall. That's another stack of Get Excited, and another gonna come from the inhib down. That's 3 on the Jinx. They're gonna take the tier 3 in bot lane as well. Even when Lucifer dies in these fights, he draws so much attention, and Vice is great at capitalizing. We'll see if they can escape here now, though. Belmonts want to chase. Buckbeat dashes in, stunned up by the Nico, and they can't keep chasing this anymore. 3 turrets, excuse me, and an inhibitor in exchange for your top laner's life. Totally fine trade. Miami Vice way up on gold.
I listen to what we're talking about here because they just did exactly what we said. Go Lucifer. Once they do it, we'll take care of the rest of it, and they pull it off perfectly. This is really, really well done. It's a good job utilizing the split push pressure that Cassante can bring. He's not like your average split pusher, Yorick or Trundle or something like that. But what he does do, especially when piloted well, is he does take onto him. So there is that same amount of pressure you get. He just won't take the tower down. But they still are basically screwed any time that they engage onto Lucifer because of what they're doing.
This time he wants to team fight. This Cassante is nothing if not piloted well. As you said, he is making so much pressure around the map, but now with the inhib down in mid lane, the inhibs exposed in the rest of the lanes, Miami Vice want to fight for soul. Spawning in 4 seconds. They're moving in as a unit, retaking this vision together. Really, really nice retake on the banana brush. Trey, 3 items, level 16 on the Jinx, is now able to pump out the damage, especially grabbing a couple kills in that mid lane skirmish there too. Gonna push out the mid wave. Really, really well played from Miami Vice. They're not taking snap engages. They're playing this collected. They're playing as a team and moving in together. Noto not able to find the stun on the bamboo, but they're just gonna start up the dragon. They are so fine with the situation.
Yeah,
actually playing it even slower.
Yeah, they're playing it even slower here. They wanna get them.
Oh my God, there's the catch up to Zeus. Yeah. Lucifer finds them around the corner off of vision, and they just blow up the Quinn. Lucifer gonna chase down onto Buckbeat now, still has the all out. Will win this fight unless Buckbeat, Flash is out, gonna have to. Now they have to recall answer the super minions that are gonna push into their base, and they're gonna give over soul to Miami Vice.
Yeah, that's so on this top is already, a pain to deal with Melio giving speed boost, and now they have the Cloud Soul to give the speed boost, plus they have the upgraded boost, so everything is working in their favor. All they have to do now is figure out how to close this out. You do see a lot of issues with these leads, so you see if Miami Vice has the plan and is ready to execute it the way that they
Yeah, we absolutely do. I do think closing games is maybe the biggest issue for teams in the Gladiator League, but I like what I'm seeing from Miami Vice, the way they're moving around the map as a unit. Although I may have spoken too soon, they may be caught out here. The mid-jungle duo extended too far, looking for some jungle camps, getting a little bit greedy. Zonia's from Noto, but he's going to be left to die. Now, can Samurai catch up the Soul Muncher? I don't think so. Second proc of the Cyclone not going to do it, but dying as the mid laner right before Baron spawns. Not what you want to see. Belmont's just going to start up the Baron.
Yeah, and they're going to trade a Baron for a tier 3 inhibitor. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
That's the power of the electric game. That's why people love it so much, but now there's going to be another fight. And just basically guarantee, hey, this is ours. I don't want to give any chance.
Yeah. Oh my God, but a flash in on the bot lane inhibitor. Trey gets 2 procs and Get Excited just like that. And they're looking to end the game. They don't care about the Baron. Buckbeat teleports in, but right on top of a trap. Not quite going to fall to Trey. 6-second zap doesn't quite kill him, but they're going to take both Nexus Towers at least. Slifer has now recalled. They've pulled him off the Baron. Ooh, Lucifer W's in, though. Not sure about the decision. Finds the Smolder. Maybe we'll be able to proc the Guardian Angel if he can with the all-out, but doesn't even get it. Slifer God, like, healed up by Helium Bamboo, but Miami Vice, they know how to play around the map. They are dragging Belmonts wherever they want them. They pick up an inhib, they pick up a Nexus Tower, they almost get the other, and they stop the Baron.
There's one saving grace here now, and that is Smolder. 706.
Yeah.
Slifer doing such a good job, and he's like the only one that's able to actually damage this. Lucifer, with all the armor pen that Quinn has, it's not enough. The crits are just hurting her more than it's hurting him. So, you know, Smolder in a really, really good place, especially when Seraphine's around. I do like the engage, and I like the way that they're playing it, but they're so far behind this top laner. It's such a gap that I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, Canna 7-0 and 6. Very, very accelerated. Level 18 Smolder make up for what is a huge gap in the top lane. We'll have to see as they're grouping up around this Baron. Both teams know that this is going to be the next objective, and whoever gets it might just decide the game. Quinn pushing down to the bot side, totally fine to do this, can push in those super minions and still make it to the Baron play even without teleport. Interestingly, Lucifer is opening up with his team, gonna run down mid lane. Noto taken pretty low just by 1 Q from Slifer. And this is the thing, Slifer can heal back up. Helium Bamboo doing a really good job at protecting the Smolder on this Seraphine. She knows that is her one job, and she's doing it well. Slifer forced to retreat out a little bit, gonna grab up the Raptors. Control of the pit does go to Miami Vice.
Yeah, one thing I really like that Bamboo is doing is using her Q and her E on cooldown to make sure that she always has the shield healed properly.
Yeah, this has unfortunately been the story for the Belmonts. Buckbeak caught on the mid wave. Lucifer caught in the jungle as well, though. Oh, and Galio actually gonna ult out. Gonna stun up Lucifer as well. Gets the all out in the last second, but he's gonna fall. Buckbeak turns what looked like a disaster into a bit of a hero play, but he will fall at the last second to try to get excited. Brock on the Jinx. And it doesn't matter how many stacks your Smolder has. When Jinx hits her spikes, she will win the fights. Triple kill the Trey. Miami Vice is going to push in to try to win the game.
Oh, Buckbeak did such a good job. He waited out all of the crowd control that Miami Vice had for him, and then still went back in after the Lucifer kill. What he needed to do was just get that kill on Lucifer and then get out. But now Noto's returning the favor here. Oh, moving right with just enough to get him out of there. But, oh, man, Buckbeak had such a great play. When you get caught out like that, he was basically doing Lucifer's job. Before the rest of the team can take care of it. And instead, they end up giving it away. To the Jinx, so now that's going to be a Baron for Miami Vice. And you just feel bad at that point. But, you know, good job of Miami Vice not going too far. The Smolder still was able to go out now. Half health with 1 Q. This literally still could be anybody's game. At this point, the carries are starting to catch up. The Black Cleaver is finished on the Wukong, so he's going to shed a lot of Lucifer's armor if he gets caught up in an ult. Everybody is going to be starting fights with basically 25-30% armor reduction from this Wukong. So we'll see how it ends up going. Anybody's game at this point, especially with the death match.
Yeah, absolutely. The gold lead becoming less and less relevant the later we get into the game, and the Smolder stacks becoming more and more. All of the carries on their full item spikes. Almost everybody in the game at level 18 bar for the supports. This is truly, as you said, anybody's game. It sits on a razor's edge, and Belmont's looking like they want to change that. Going in on the Lucifer. The Kazante still so take, that's a nice all out on the Alien Bamboo. Pops the Seraphine. The Wukong gets a nice cyclone though. Oh, Trey walks forward, tries to find Slifer, can't quite get it. Guardian Angel will be procced. They're gonna grab this Jinx. On spawn, Slifer shuts down the Jinx, and they are running for the hills. Double kill to Zeus as well. 2 left alive on Vice, and they are running. Can the Belmonts end the game in this time though? I don't think they can, but Elder spawning in 5 seconds. Belmonts take back control.
And that is the target at this point. As you see here, they thought they had him caught up. They didn't account for the Quinn here. And Buckbeak, somebody making a really, really strong call here. And even though she gets her life up here, Helium Bamboo on this Seraphine, getting the all 3 of them, and then unfortunately getting put out. But all the damage that plays on the backside here, Slifer doing just enough to stay out of Trey's range on this Jinx. And then he getting the shutdown, and then getting the fight that they wanted, and then taking Elder. But they are about to potentially get caught here after taking Elder. But nope, they end up getting out. So almost got caught on greedy recalls, but Banana Brush, not today.
Basing on a ward. Importantly, a couple members still have Bear and should be expiring soon on Soul Muncher and Moby White. But yeah, Elder now on top of the Smolder, 8, 0, and 8. You saw how much damage just the Smolder ultimate did in that team fight, right? The Mom coming down eviscerated Miami Vice, and they really just don't have a plan for getting onto this Smolder. 505 stacks of Dragon practice. Slifer does so much damage and is playing with such confidence. They really just have not been able to get on him.
No, they haven't, and even when they do, there's the Galio, there's the Wukong disengage, there's like everything, like Samurai's performance on his Wukong cannot be understated, because every time that they are getting on top of him, he is there. It's either his clone or he uses the communicated range, which is disengage to keep that shoulder safe and really, really well. And when they do this and they try to focus, Nodos gets one clap by the twin. Somebody else gets so much damage from the twin, so really, really well done. Pushing this in, they don't need towers. They want to.
Yeah, they do. They're taking towers on the top side of the map as well. Quinn, get a recall to match the Cassante. Oh my god! Slifer goes legendary as the Nico just completely disappears off the face of the rift. The Belmonts are so strong. Now, can Miami Vice defend this as 3 members? I don't think they can. Cassante gonna take a recall here. Not gonna get canceled, but the Quinn actually cancels his own recall. Gonna keep pushing in. And Lucifer playing with the knife's edge here, as he likes to do, trying his best to draw pressure, but he does not push this game as fast as the Belmonts will, dealing so much damage to towers. Their wave is big, it is stacked, and they're looking to end the game. Lucifer taking the fight with Zeus on the bot side of the map. Can he get a recall off to because no, they're actually gonna pull back. They maybe want to engage onto the Cassante in the bot lane, see if they can catch him.
I think that's kind of the play where it's either that or this is what they wanted.
What efficient Slifer again, just one-shots him. And they're going to keep pushing in here. Galio has teleport if he wants a Buckbeat. Takes, no, actually doesn't complete the reset, I'm sorry. They will say they don't have a wave though, but super minions are going to start coming in. They could move up and take the top tier 2 if they want potentially, but without Baron, these pushes are really hard to make. Slifer taking a little low, can he over the wall if he wants. Baron will be spawning in about a minute.
Alright, so as the cooldowns come up, you have the redemption, you have the rebellious, which they're actually popping to get out. But, you know, even if you step up just a little bit too far, you're going to get extremely punished now. The damage coming out from the side of the Belmonts is absolutely insane. Jinx kind of needs like that first kill or assist to kind of get going, but if everybody's dying around you and nobody is there alive to protect you, it's really, really hard to get the resets, and especially now that her GA is down. It should be up for next fight. Trey's been doing really well with the spacing on this Jinx, but it's so close. It's a razor's edge at this point where any misstep is potentially going to cost you the game.
Absolutely, and I think a huge difference maker in these team fights that we've seen has actually been the effectiveness of the other solo laners, the non-tank solo laners from these two teams, right? Zeus actually been doing a lot of work, like catching out the backside in those team fights, right? Like, knows he's not going to play front to back as well as other champions, is flanking around and trying to find picks, whereas Nodo been relatively invisible in these team fights, had one really massive ultimate earlier, but they weren't able to find anything off of it. And I think if they're going to catch the Smolder, it is going to need to be off the back of some kind of a creative Nico ultimate, but they just haven't been able to find it.
Yeah, and she's like right there. Would have been a perfect time. You have everybody standing around. They were ready to take that. You know, instead of sending the clone up, go yourself. But now they're getting caught out here on the side as Lucifer is not with the team again, and Belmont wanted to.
Yeah, they may be overextended on the mid-range. Samurai flashes in, hits the Cyclone on the 3-second front. Will find as well. Slifer goes legendary as Nodo does find the ultimate onto a couple of the backside, but it is too little, too late. Double kill, triple kill going over to the Smolder. He could find a Penta here if they can catch Lucifer. That's a quadra kill going to Slifer. They are going to be able to end this game. I do not think Cassante can defend this one.
No, and Quinn's going to be down there really, really quickly. There is another Nexus tower. And if she just, oh man, if she would have found him there, that would have absolutely won the game. Quinn has one job in these team fights now, and it is to stay with Lucifer and not allow him to join them, which he's been doing a really good job. And once they found out that, once they realized they were losing the fight, they did do a good job to get that inhibitor turret, but he is going to clear this out. Gets him away, but it's too late. And the Belmonts and the Quinn get the win in game 1.
Absolutely. How else could we start a Gladiator League series, Fel, except with a 48-minute complete banger back and forth game, really on a knife's edge the entire time, but Slifer with an insane carry performance on the Smolder. But overall, great performances, I would argue, from all 10 members of this game.
Yeah, I think, Zeus ended up playing that lane about how it goes. You make one mistake, the lane is over. It feels really badly, but in the late game was able to get onto the backside of these team fights. Once Smolder was able to actually hurt Cassante, that's when you were
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Welcome back to the Gladiator League. We have game 2 of GCC Belmonts versus Miami Vice. If you missed it, game 1 was a 48-minute turbo banger. Went all the way down to the wire, but ended up with Slifer having an incredible carry performance on the Smolder. What do you think these teams have in store for us game 2, Phil?
I think it's going to be more of the same. I think it's going to be some weird picks, some weird bans, and then I think it's just going to be some good decisions and bad decisions. One thing that I really did like about Vice is that they played into their comp for the most part really well. They didn't over engage too much after the first like 8-9 minutes. After a couple of bad fights didn't go their way, they went back to what they were supposed to do, which was the re-engage, counter-engage style, and it ended up working for them. And they were lucky that that Miami Vice didn't really punish them with the lead that they had, because there was probably 2 or 3 moments where, like, looking back, you're like, dude, we could have won the game here. The VOD review on this game 1 is going to be, it's going to be harsh, and it should be harsh if you're Miami Vice's coach. But at the same time, there's a lot of positives to take from it.
For sure. I mean, I think they played largely pretty well as a team. Lucifer, again, huge standout on the Cassante. I think trying to get him onto another pick that he feels comfortable on, that he feels like he can carry on, that he feels like he can win lane on, I think will be huge. Maybe if they end up, I'm not sure what side they'll be on, if they'll be on red side this game potentially because they won game 1, trying to keep him for the R5 counter pick, something like that. I think I would love to see from them, because again, he was a stand up, but yeah, everybody played well. They know their roles, and these 2 teams were honestly both really good at team fighting. I want to see more of team fighting. We're going to have to sort of dig a little further into the barrel for these engage picks, though. Mumu was banned, Wukong taken, Nico taken, Galio taken. We're a little further down the tier list.
A little bit, but not by much. I mean, you still have a Jarvan, you still have Xin Xiao, you still have Vi, which I don't really like in these kind of leagues, just because they're never piloted properly, and it's always either an over engage or a missed engage or something like that. So I'd like to see these teams stay away from the Vi pick, but you still have Sejuani, you still have Zach, you still have Poppy, you still, like, there's tons of engage, tankiness, counter engage, things like that. So the pool's still open, and it'll be interesting as we get into game 2 draft. Going forward into game 3, it's going to get a little bit steeper as far as what is taken out of their pools. But the Nocturne, I wouldn't doubt seeing another Nocturne Ivern ban. The Yone taken off. They don't want to see Buckby on that. I guess that's one of his really strong picks. But yeah, I want to see more of the same from each of these guys, and I want to see them both play into their comps kind of the way they did game 1, and I want to see better decision making from Miami Vice if they take a lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. The Ivern banned again, same as game 1. These, I think so far, are exactly the same bans, maybe different order, but the Amumu, the Yone, Nocturne, and Ivern down as well. These sort of playmaking junglers. Ivern's an interesting one. It must just be a pocket pick of Samurais, but the Urgot banned in phase 1 a little different.
Yeah, I think that they're probably not as afraid of the Sivir, but the same exact bans coming out from Belmont. I guess it's Miami Vice's on the blue side again. Belmont's really liked having the counter pick for their mid laner last game. We'll see if they want to transition that to the top lane, or dare I say an R5 jungle. But the Morgana, the first pick, this is a really, really strong flex, especially in these leagues, because she can really, really be piloted very easily in comparison to other champions that can flex as well as her.
Yeah, triple flex pick on the Morgana. Love to see that on B1. You can put this sort of wherever you want based on what your team comp rounds out to be. Ashe and a Cho'Gath going to be the lock-ins from the Belmonts.
So Cho'Gath, there is a note in the prior thing. So I have actually 2 PSAs real quick, if you don't mind me getting them out there. One from Into the Arena. Buckby, Cho'Gath, if you're in a ranged matchup, take Comet, not Hail of Blades. And then 2, upgrade your boots. You're welcome, Anti.
Yeah. Those boot upgrades didn't quite come through for Miami Vice last game, as we see Ziggs and Bessa going to be the lock-ins for Vice. Lucifer on the Bessa. Now, this is my favorite champion. I'm an Ambessa enthusiast. You get the Quinn in game 1. I get to see my Ambessa in game 2. Oh, but Kennen, not the greatest matchup.
I actually think that's an Ambessa mid to go into the Cho'Gath. She works really well into Cho'Gath. It's really hard to lock her down with your Qs.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, saves her dashes and everything. So tons of mobility on that. It could end up being a Ziggs in the bot lane. We see a lot of that. You know, Trey is very comfortable on APCs, if you will, in the bot lane. So the Taric ban, Nautilus, and Zac. So they're really going after these junglers here. They don't want to see the Nautilus, which has been played a lot in the jungle in these leagues. And then the Lilia ban is interesting.
Yeah, the interesting thing about those Belmonts bans is that they seem not sure where this Morgana is going either, right? They banned a jungler and a support. Maybe they expect it to be mid lane Morgana, something like that, but we'll have to see. Nami going to be the pick for Helium. Loved her on the Enchanter in game 1. Did a lot of sort of unsung work in those team fights. I think the Nami's going to be a great pick.
Yeah, and like the biggest one was probably the last fight where she hits 3 people with her ult before Cassandre can, you know, ult her and get her killed. So really, really well done. I love Nami Ashe. There's so much slows to it. I mean, this team has so many slows, and they pick a Hecarim into a slow comp. Interesting pick here by Moby. I mean, by Vice. The Hecarim jungle. So that is going to be an Ambessa top, most likely, and Morgana mid.
Or Jack's jungle.
And then a Jax jungle for... Or it could be a Cho'Gath jungle and Jack's top. So that could be where that ends up going. So interesting, completely different comp on both sides. There's no protecting the president here. This is engage, disengage, lockdown. I absolutely love it. Alistar is one of those champions. That's why they banned the Taric, because that's a huge counter. So I like that Vice is thinking ahead before they make their picks. So this is a best of 3. Miami Vice is down 0-1. Who do you got for game 2?
Ooh, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Looking at these team comps, I like the team fighting capabilities of GCC, but I do think that putting Lucifer on a pick with even more agency in team fights than the Cassandre, right? Like, Cassandre did tons of work in those fights, was really great on the split push, but Ambessa can 1v9. This is a champ that you can really, really take over a game on, so... I don't know, and that combined with the easy dive capability of like Hecarim, Ziggs bomb over the top, I might have to give this to Miami Vice.
Okay, you like it. I actually don't. Into Kennen. I know Lucifer,
that is true.
And we were talking before game 1. He does have the propensity of falling behind. So I think this one is really going to come down to the junglers. I believe that Soul Muncher and Samurai are going to have to go top. I think they're going to be able to play this mid lane, mid-bot sort of style that they did last game. Is just a couple grass procs coming out and not much gained. No vision will be placed on either team.
Hey, something was gained, okay? Jack's got 1 gold fishing in the river.
Yeah,
huge advantage.
yeah, that's the but that is going to be Lucifer. Lane swapping into the mid to go up against the Cho'Gath. Very smart move, taking him out of the Kennen matchup. He does normally struggle, if not on Cassandre, into range matchups, so I really do like this. I don't really know the rules of this league, but I'm assuming that that's okay.
Yeah, seems fine. It's not anything crazy. It's a solo lane swap, right? As opposed to like a bot lane swap, this kind of thing. Sending your 80 carry top, these sort of things we've been seeing at the World Championships, but it will just be the Ambessa. As you said, laning into the Cho'Gath, this is a great matchup for Ambessa. She's so happy in the Cho'Gath. Really, really hard to punish her with as many dashes as she has in her kit. And I have to imagine Morgana can push Kennen in most of the game.
Yeah,
you see a little...
Yeah, that's gonna work for a little bit, but once Nami hits like level 4, level 5, those engagers are gonna be really, really hard to find, and they're gonna be extremely punishing with the extra slows coming out, not just from Ashe, but from Nami and her passive, the way that her spells work. I'm gonna be interested to see if Trey and Moby can actually do some good 2v2s, because the sustain coming out of Nami is going to outweigh what Alistar is
True to see. Zeus dodging out on the binding from the Morgana, proccing the electrocute as well. Misses the Q, doesn't quite get the stun, gets emoted on up there, but largely just trading CS in the top lane. Should be the same in the mid lane too. Again, Mbessa good into the Cho'Gath, not incredible amounts of kill threat, especially in this early lane. Mbessa really not known for early kills.
No, she's gonna have to get the Eclipse, but she's also gonna have to be wary of not giving away hard steel taking the grass here, so he's gonna, you know, have his own sustain amount and as he kills minions and stuff too. So a good lane for both of these guys, I think, is the poke coming out from Trey is really, really strong. They're really getting on top of this this Ashe Nami, and Nami's gonna end up running out of mana, having to heal this Ashe if they're not careful.
Be taken low in the mid lane. I may have to eat my words on the kill threat as Lucifer doing a lot of damage. Maybe didn't have the Q, definitely didn't have the Q up there to follow up a Buckbeak. Actually has to recall, gonna probably miss a couple minions if this wave can get shoved in time. No junglers around to say this. Lucifer flashes in with the 81st blood on a Buckbeak. Gonna be a trade kill and burn the flash as well. If this wave crashes, it's worth it.
Yeah, but I think that there's just enough there that it probably won't end up being too much of an advantage for Mbessa. She gets the 100 gold, but she gives the kill back. I would have liked to have seen her just let Cho'Gath recall, make him use his teleport early, and then push the wave in yourself. And as it's crashing, you can just walk back the lane and have a teleport advantage for maybe a good flank over the first dragon fight or something. But does get the first blood, gets the kill, unfortunately passes over. So it is 1-1, so they're tied for the peak of warfare. As Cho'Gath goes back to the top side, would rather fight against Morgana than the Mbessa, and we see why.
Yeah, they picked Kennen to punish the Mbessa. This is what they wanted from the draft, and they're going to find a way to match the Kennen into the Mbessa. It's the last thing they do. Lucifer, a little accelerated now with the kill. Actually can trade into the Kennen pretty decently there. Has the pickaxe completed already, so not the worst matchup in the world. It's, you know, it's no Mbessa into Renekton.
No. Yeah, so it's, you know, doing well. Zeus is, I think, kind of caught off guard by the pickaxe. You know, there's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Motlane is now fighting into this, and maybe White is just going to be slowed forever.
Yeah, it takes a lot of damage from the Ashe Q there, but maybe a little unnecessary. Has to flash.
Yeah. I'm actually proud of Slifer and Helium to not overcommit to that. Hecarim was hovering around on the bot side. If they do to the top, that's a free kill. That's what we were talking about earlier with this Alistar event. Once Nami gets a couple levels, they like that slow and the sustain is really, really hard to get away from.
Yeah, Samurai's pathing down. This wave has been thinned out, though. I think maybe they were going to look for a dive angle, but Zig's really effective at clearing the wave, thinning it out from long range. So kind of hard champion to dive in the lane. It's hard to stack the waves onto him. Level 5 for him, Bamboo in the bush. Samurai is still here, but is going to start channeling the recall.
So annoying to deal with. Moby White getting good stomps onto Slifer on the Ashe, but there's just not enough follow-up. Trey is super duper low on mana here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see it back from him soon, and then either get a tier or maybe even a mana crystal or something to help him, because otherwise, if they're smart, the Belmonts bot lane is going to be able to get a really, really strong freeze that they won't be able to come into.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a little bit of bot lane domination for them here. Is Trey even lower on mana than the last time we panned down. Slifer, really good job at using these hawk shots, tracking the enemy jungle. They're going to find where Hecarim is. There he is. Spot him recalling on the Gromp. Know he's going to open up back to the bot side, so they know exactly how to play.
Yeah, and we see the Cho'Gath Mbessa getting back up to the top. This is going to be non-stop lane swapping from these two. Buckbeak and Lucifer just, you know, they're trying to keep the Mbessa onto the Cho'Gath. The Cho'Gath is trying to play into nice flash by Samurai to get that guaranteed stun, and Buckbeak's going to eat the Mbessa. Lucifer, a little overextended, does use the ult to sort of get out, trying to get a cheeky play, but with no flash from earlier on, gets chomped up by this Cho'Gath.
Yeah, that's a huge play from Samurai. Really great gank, as you said. Amazing flash, getting the counter-strike onto the Mbessa. Wasn't able to buffer the stun with the public execution. Is going to fall, and now, once Cho'Gath gets a stack on you of the feast, right? Once Cho'Gath starts scaling, now he's 2 kills to 1, it actually gets really hard to make anything happen in this matchup. It's hard to push him in. It's hard to find any sort of advantage. Samurai's going to move on to the grubs. Bot lane has roamed up, or at least Helium has. They seem like they want to contest these grubs, so as Alistar is here, Hecarim and Morgana as well. They're first on the move. Samurai caught in the back of the pit. If Bamboo might be caught out, Nami forced to flash on the backside. One grub goes down actually to the Morgana. Samurai unable to smite it down. We'll see if they can grab the last 2 here. Buckbeat's here. Flashing from Nodo though. Hits the ultimate. Samurai forced to flee immediately. Lucifer picks up the first kill. Zeus with a nice cannon ultimate, but just doesn't deal enough damage. 2 kills over to the Ambessa. Feet of Warfare goes to Miami Vice, and they're going to grab all 3 grubs.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. They had the right play, they had the setup, but losing that grub to the Morgana when you're the one that decided to go and take the grubs in the first place just feels so bad if you are the Belmonts here.
Yeah, it is so punished for this. Buckbeat maybe a little aggressive walking around that wall trying to get vision, and Zeus gets a nice stun with the ultimate, but again, just doesn't deal enough damage. But we are back in the action out of the replay. Slifer picks up a solo kill on Trey. This Belmont's AD carry cannot be stopped this series.
No, and that's going to happen time and time again. This is one of those lanes where you're going to have your support with your Ziggs at almost every time. It's either that or Ziggs is going to have to sit on top of this tower and just farm the waves as they come in, but it becomes really hard because Slifer, showing how well he can play, he's going to be trying to use any way that he can to get that freeze, and this is not good if you are Miami Vice, because now Ash, with that kill, with the 20 CS lead, is going to be ahead in items and is going to be able to run down the Ziggs anytime that he's alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they play the way they played last game, right, we saw that they're really good at this sort of protect the president, as we've been saying, style comps. They can use these engage tools as counter engage. They're good at holding their abilities to peel. So even if Ambessa and Hecarim can try to find angles onto this fed Ash, it just might not matter. They might be able to peel off. So gonna pick up a dragon here, presumably, although Ambessa has moved down from the mid lane. They do want to contest this. Maybe finding a catch. Good buffer with public execution. Going to avoid on the counter-strike, but can't avoid the bubble into the ult. Great timing from Helium Bamboo, layering the CC, and Samurai is in the backline, picking up the kill onto Lucifer. Moby White has flash, uses it, but the cow is cooked. A double kill to Samurai. Trey, nothing he can do on the bottom side, just going to poke with the Qs, but this dragon is going down.
And that's extremely unfortunate. If you're Moby White there, he's going to look back and say, I should have ulted 3 seconds earlier. He ulted when he had like 60 health left, and it just wasn't. Yeah, he's gonna get the chomp onto that. That's bad. That's another free stack that's gonna go over to that side, and Trey is gonna be caught out by Slifer and Samurai here.
Yeah. Looked a little overextended, but without the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, Ash not able to follow up on the kill. Trey gets out with the satchel charge, but Zeus able to farm up, push waves in on the top side here. Was not needed in this fight, right? Whereas I think most of the rest of the team ended up coming down. Lucifer fell, Nodo was at the fight as well. Trey came in from the bot side, so they dropped a couple waves on top side to the Ken, and Zeus picking up an advantage in the matchup that they wanted him in.
Yeah, and that's huge when it's a 4v5 and you lose the fight, you lose the dragon. That's just gonna feel so bad. This early game style comp that the Belmonts have picked up with a strong scaling on the backside is gonna be really, really hard to deal with as it gets further on. Look down here, Buckley doing a really, really good job, and now with the Hollow Radiance taking less damage. The sustain off of all these minions as he throws these levels is so hard for Nodo to touch.
Yeah, 2 games in a row, Buckbeat picks a melee tank in the mid lane, and 2 games in a row rushes the Hollow Radiance, and 2 games in a row, I think he's going to get huge amounts of work done in these team fights. We saw last game really good at making space on the Galio, the way he was baiting out crowd control abilities, the way he escaped and won them one of those team fights off the back of his play. I think he's great at these melee tank mid laners. We'll have to see how the Cho'Gath rounds out, and we'll have to see if Nodo can have more impact than he found last game, right? On the Nico, largely ineffectual in the team fights, got a couple ultimates, wasn't able to get much done. We'll see if the Morgana can do any better. Samurai looking for a gank on the bot side. Sweeps out the bush. Yeah, Enchanted Crystal Arrow on the Trey, nothing he can do. Has the flash if he wants it. Oh, but a great flash in from Samurai. Predicts it, lands the stun. Moby White pops the ulti, but doesn't have flash. There's no way he's getting out of this one. That's another double kill going over to Samurai. 4 kills now on the Jax as they look for a punish on the Buckby in the mid lane, but this guy's just too tanky.
Yeah, he eats everything that Soul Muncher has to throw at him there. You know, Nodo's going to be able to push this wave in and should be able to force this Cho'Gath to recall, but man, really well done on the bot side of Zayas and Lucifer fighting here too.
Yeah, Lucifer likes this fight though. If he lands the Q2 here, that's a kill. And Bessa wins those on the Eclipse power spike. Unfortunately, is a stronger power spike than the Rocket Belt, right? And the ulti, even though it wasn't buffered by the public execution, Lucifer knows the limits, wins the 1v1.
Right, and right here, just a huge misplay over by Zeus. He has Mbessa right where he wants him, but right where he wants her, but doesn't actually play this correctly. The Rocket Belt completely misses on the backside of his ult. The Eclipse is down, everything is down, and boom, right there, just misses and just gets the opportunity for the public execution.
Really well timed. It's looking like a similar story from last game, fellas. I'll hold my thoughts for a second. Samurai maybe overextended. Hits 3 with the counter strike though. Able to leap strike out as well. Unstoppable over the top for Soul Muncher, but he doesn't have enough damage to find this. Now he's stuck behind enemy lines. Didn't even take flash this game. Gonna give over another kill to the Belmonts as a little bit of an overextension in the jungle. Miami Vice. This is what I was gonna say before, is they seem to be stuck with the same problem as last game. It's Lucifer 1v9.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're on Mbessa, not Cassante. So, you know, as she can take over the game, she is going to need some agency from the rest of the team. She's gonna have to have them poke down, and Belmont's comp is perfect into that because you have the Nami to keep the sustain up. You have really strong team fight coming out of the Ashe, coming out of the Kennen. So this is going to be a tall task for Lucifer to kind of do the same thing he did last time. He's going to have to hope that Zeus just keeps making mistakes and counting a CS lead versus a 4-kill lead to work out his advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think last game, the rest of the map was not losing this hard for Miami Vice, right? The rest of the lanes were relatively stable. They actually had an early game advantage. And then the Cassante was great in team fights, but wasn't able to find picks under the AD carry, right? Didn't have agency in that way. And so I think going into this game, they said, okay, let's get Lucifer on a champ where he can actually deal some damage, where he can get picks onto the AD carry, who's guaranteed presence on the back line of the team fight. The issue is, Cassante could do all that by himself, and Bessa does need her team to do something, and the team is losing pretty hard on the rest of the map. Nodo knocked up by the Cho'Gath, not going to find anything else. Dragon is up in 8 seconds, though, and you have to imagine it's just going to go right down to the Belmonts.
Yeah, more than likely. The only saving grace here is that Slifer actually is pretty low on this Ashe, but Hecarim nowhere near this. You would have to hold you to steal this because of flash on the Hecarim and want to take the ghost with the pop. But yeah, they're just a little bit behind here. Hecarim is doing a really good job of power farming on this champion like you're supposed to do. But they're going to have to wait until he has 2 items. Has 3 items, like something on the 3rd item, to be able to really see what he wants to do, but they do make the cross-match play. They do get something out of it, even though they have no cryo in bot lane whatsoever. So good job by both teams just playing into their comps really well and taking what the other team is sort of giving.
Oh, we have a Trey. Maybe caught on the side wave yet again, as here comes the Nami ultimate over the top. Not even necessary. Slifer picks up another kill on the Ashe. Samurai has been punishing this Ziggs so hard all game.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that the Nami ult secured that kill.
I know, it would have been fun.
But no, good job. You know, they're just, Trey cannot go anywhere, and Moby White is not there to protect him. At this point, you're going to have to find somebody else to cover. I think that's either Phantasm or Morgana. Kennen is a little bit easier to kill without the Zhonyas than the Cho'Gath, so Moby's gonna have to find somebody to hover here and do something. Otherwise, him as a support is literally just roaming around the map and kind of finding vision.
Yeah, he's not able to find plays in these other lanes, right? The Kennen is hard to find a pick onto on the top side. Morgana just has no pressure in this mid lane matchup. The Cho'Gath is way too tanky for Alistar Morgana to kill. Now, I will say Miami Vice does have the Herald, does have 3 grubs, so they can use these objectives if they want to try and snowball one of the side lanes, presumably Ambessa if they want to take down that top lane tier 1, but 2 dragons were the trades for the Belmonts, right? They have this dragon stacking going so in their favor, and that can be hard to come back from.
Right. Plus, they're also ahead right now. You know,
Yep.
you always hear or you always talk about how like you can tell how a game went when like the first 2 dragons go to one team, the other 4 next ones go to the other one. And it's usually because you're trading dragons for good objectives elsewhere. But here, the team is not like Miami Vice is in no shape to be contesting against Belmont for this 3rd or potentially even the 4th dragon.
Yeah, right. Looking at items, looking at these breakpoints, there's no way they're hitting a spike hard enough in the next 2.5 minutes to have any sort of a level playing field contesting the 3rd dragon. It is, I believe, I'm actually not sure what soul it is. It says Cloud in the top left, but that can't be correct because Cloud Drake was the last one taken down. So I'm not sure what soul it is. I can't quite tell with the map. See, they're trying to try and find a pick onto Zeus. Candy Escape has Flash. He should be totally out of here, but we'll see if Lucifer lands something. Flashes out and sidesteps the public execution. Well played from Zeus.
Yeah, but Zeus, if he would have let Lucifer land that would have been a dead Ambessa. He still has his ult.
True.
Had two stacks of charges already on him, so a little overzealous, but doesn't end up getting punished for that. And Dodo is now going to have to
Yeah, unfortunately, Morgana does not make it out of these alive. We'll see if they hold the kill. Actually doesn't have Feast up for Cho'Gath, they're just going to give a bit kill over to the Jax. Belmont's so much more effective at finding these side lane picks than Miami Vice has been.
Yeah, it seems like the bot lane is just the death lane for,
Yeah, it really
for
is.
Miami Vice. Whoever's down there, I'm afraid if they send Lucifer down there, he's going to get picked off as well. Miami Vice is really in a pickle here as the Belmonts have really strong late game comp and really well in the mid early game. Not looking good for Vice, but they do have Ziggs. They do have a ton of Ziggs there. They do have a strong team fight. We just have to.
I love this Otacon start from the Belmonts. They're completely off of vision, and there is nobody around. With the pick under the Morgana, the timing was so unfortunate. Got picked off right before the Otacon spawned, and in the same lane. So the team was already here. Soul Muncher gets into the tri-brush looking for a contest, but he is there too late. The Otacon will fall to Belmont. The tier 1 did go to Lucifer on the top side, but that is not an even trade.
No, not even close, especially since the first turns have already gone down on the spot side for the Belmont. So Nodo's going to have to do some really good wave clearing jobs here, and then, like I said, they're going to have to find like a good Ambessa with a black shield to get into the back line.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if they're in a position to be able to do that.
The issue with that play too is that like the goal of that right is to kill Slifer, but Slifer doesn't even have most of the gold. This Jax has 2 items. Triforce and Sundered Sky complete for Samurai. He is the carry at the moment on this team. Like everybody does a lot of damage, and you just can't find picks on the Buckby in the side lane. Like we're not going to ever deal enough damage. Herald spawn in the mid lane, going to try and take down the tier 1, but it just doesn't quite deal enough damage. No one riding it, no one brave enough to take the fall. Samurai pops the counter strike. Importantly, will not jump blind into the bush as Lucifer poked out a little bit, doing a good job of controlling space. Team Zeus does have the teleport if he wants. May try and push in the top lane tier 1 before teleporting down to the fight.
Yeah, and the red turret does finally go down. One thing that was weird is if you look at this vision inside the banana brush here, on the bot river here, that one ward that's sitting there, they had a pink ward in there, but it was so pressed up against the side of there that they weren't able to see the vision, but luckily enough, Miami Vice didn't take out the pink ward, and so they were able to see that they were there. So Jax, Samurai on this Jax actually didn't overcommit onto the Hecarim because he knew that Morgana was sitting in there.
Yeah, great use of the Herald from Miami Vice. Pushed down the tower. It didn't quite get it on the first go, but with the next wave, the tower did fall, and that gave them the pressure they needed. Even just the crash of the Herald, right? Gave them the pressure they needed to control the vision in the river. Gave them what was a pretty free dragon. Buckby also, I will say, wasn't caught out on the bot wave, but was chunked out, and so really didn't feel like he could frontline for his team, didn't feel like he could face check those brushes the way that they needed him to. So they're okay to say, hey, we'll trade this for a top tier 1. You can have 1 Drake this game, we'll get the next one.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, if you're Belmonts, because that could also stick in the back of it. But now where Miami Vice is getting a little bit of tempo here, and as the momentum sort of shifts in their favor, and they're getting these neutral objectives, like one after another, just play with the Herald using that, playing preparing himself for Dragon. So if they can keep up this pressure, they might actually fight.
Yeah, speaking of pressure, a middle-aged team fight. Moby White is in the backline, but can't do anything by himself as the Alistar, and Zeus is here. Cannon finds a nice stun onto the Alistar, who will fall. Buckby on a killing spree on the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, and that was just a really, really nice setup. Ambessa was looking for a flank, but couldn't find it because Samurai was so in the river with
a great airborne to the Ambessa at the last second. They grab 2 more kills out of the tier 2. They're going to pick up the tower as well. Buckby gets out scot-free. Slifer making the plays happen.
Yeah, and that was such a great call. The Ashwold comes out, and Buckby takes the aggro before anybody else does. He took 6 turret shots there, or 5, it was 5 or 6, but like, holy crap, like really, really well coordinated under the tower to get that Ambessa. She's now forward. They get the follow-up kill onto the Hecarim as he tries to get out, so really, really well done by the Belmonts. They've taken control back in this game and put it where they want it, and now, as you see, all the vision that Moby White's putting down is defensive. It's in their own jungle. They're not able to get this offensive vision up on the side of the Belmonts. And look at that, that jungle is completely open.
Yeah, as you see Samurai going to take advantage of that, jumping in on Moby White. He knows he is safe. Level 13 on the Jax compared to the level 9 of the Alistar, this cow, a little bit behind. And what you said, I think, is a perfect description of the Belmonts, right? Well coordinated. That's how they've been playing this game. That's how they were playing last game. And speaking of that coordination, they're looking for another pick on the side lane. It's not bot lane this time, but the result is the same. Noto will fall, and again, it's right before a major objective spawns on the same side of the map.
Yeah, Noto is just getting caught out a little bit too much, and even with all the defensive vision, Belmont, luckily they just kind of walk everywhere that the vision isn't, you know? It's kind of like a free hit baseball. It's just kind of...
Yeah, Vice feels like they need to get TES. Great public execution to the backside, though. Lucifer, flashes out over the Counter-Strike, grabs 2 kills, but it might not matter. Zeus with the stopwatch. Samurai picks up another double kill, his 3rd of the game on the Jax. It was a valiant effort from the Ambessa, but the team fight does not go their way. They are hitting them with the wallets. Belmonts pick up 4 kills, including the Morgana, almost 5 with Trey taking down that low, and they're gonna grab the Baron.
Yeah, really good job by Lucifer on the Ambessa to get back there. However, like you said, the rest of their team was not in a position to follow up. The Hecarim was sort of even out between the 2 fights. Trey and Moby were stuck on the bot side fighting off the rest of Belmont. So just the right play, but just not with the follow-up. They need to be a little more cohesive. They need to be together for that to work, and it just didn't work out. So no matter what play you make, if your team is not there to back you up and you're on a champ like Ambessa who can get locked down and shut down, they need a different strategy going into the rest of the game if they want to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, same story as last game. Lucifer making really flashy and exciting plays, like picking up 2 kills there in the back of the team fight. But Samurai and Buckby, I really just have to shout out on the Belmonts. Their team fighting has been impeccable, both this game and last. Samurai with the stopwatch there was just an arm guard, now upgraded into a full stopwatch in time for this next fight. Complete control of the Dragon Pit, complete control of vision at every angle. They already have Baron. They're going to pick the 3rd Dragon as well.
Yeah, Oh, a big shout out from the production, actually. That was Slifer's first death at the hands of Lucifer for this entire series so far. So see if maybe that's the momentum that they need to get this going. Samurai here is going to...
Yeah. Samurai does so much damage if this tries to get in the back of the public execution, tries to buffer the wave, but it is not enough. Samurai goes golden. Slifer picks up a double. Make that a triple kill as the cow falls again, and they might just end the game right here. Noto Blast goes over the wall, but the AP carries of Vice will not be enough to stem the bleeding. The Belmonts are going to push in and try to win the game with Baron.
Yeah, and oh my god, so much damage coming at us again. Him on carry champions is actually impressive with how well he's doing. His
Sniper,
gonna go down again, and that's gonna
Oh,
stay the execution for just a little bit longer. As he got hit by a Morgana Q and just stayed in the puddle for a little bit too long. You're gonna want that position back, even if you come back and win this. Still, that is such a bad catch. Good job by Noto to throw something out there and get, the advantage.
yeah, really unfortunate timing because it does actually just completely stop them from ending the game, right? Most of their tower damage was on that Ashe. They are going to get these resets off now in the jungle. Maybe not, though. Zeus may be caught on a bad back, taking a bit of a greedy position. Going to get shut down by Noto. And cracks in the armor for the Belmonts, right? We're seeing them start to fall through a little bit. The Soul Muncher goes for a Hexgate angle, but that's a little bit too deep, buddy. Hexgate's right into the Fed Jacks, and I agree with the game. Samurai is legendary.
Yeah, that's so. He's like, oh, I see her. We can take this. We can take this. Everybody starts moving over towards the river, but Jax just ended up being there for like. That's what you're gonna be like. Why was he there? I don't know, but he was, and now really bad.
Yeah, the W back in was not what you want to see, and again pops the ultimate too late. Lucifer has to use the public execution as an escape. The enchanted crystal arrow just barely misses. Look at Buckbeat. This guy is completely unkillable. Just walks the cow down and eats him.
Yeah, that was Moby was actually out of that, but I think he messed up and he actually headbutted a minion instead of the Cho'Gath, so then he just basically was just standing there like, my bad. As the Belmonts is just pushing down on the spot wave now. They're gonna do so much this year. I don't know if there's anything that Miami Vice can really do to stop this.
I really don't think there is. They're down almost 10k gold. Lucifer is going to try his best, but the wave will push him back. Helium Bamboo, great on the disengage, and Timu Zeus, great on the re-engage. Another double kill going to Slifer. Noto will fall soon after Buck B goes legendary as well. And you got to imagine that this time the Belmonts are going to end the game.
Yeah, I don't think that Trey has enough wave clears to clear 3 waves at once, or at least 2 right now. This is going to go down. Soul Muncher might be able to actually pull Slifer here.
Yeah, that's Ghost said, oh, good flash from Slifer, good barrier as well, but the Nami just keeps him topped up. Soul Muncher doesn't have the damage for that. Slifer goes on a killing spree. Samurai in on the backside. Trey will fall as well. They fought hard in game 1. They fought hard in game 2, but the Belmonts absolutely dismantle Miami Vice to take a 2-0 victory.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane. Belmonts came ready to play this game too. I didn't really like the comp on the side of Miami Vice there. I don't think that Ziggs into an Ashe Nami was a good choice. They did see the Ashe, Ashe Cho'Gath in the beginning. You can't take such immobile, squishy champions like that into that. Really good job sending Lucifer mid lane to deal with the Cho'Gath so he didn't just get stomped by Zeus in the cannon early on, but every time that they made a lane swap, Belmonts had time to get back there as well, so just no advantage could come for the side of Miami Vice. Morgana, with the exception of killing the Ashe, like with happenstance and prolonging the game for another 4 minutes, really didn't do much. So I think Miami Vice needs to go back to the drawing board. Even though she did the most damage on her team, just didn't feel as impactful as she could have.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2 games in a row that Trey has needed time to scale up as well, right? Putting him on picks that don't have much early agency, putting him on Jinx and then Ziggs, right? 0-3 start on the Ziggs this game too. Tough, sort of a victim of circumstance, but I think you need a little early game agency, maybe on somebody on the side of Miami Vice, because they got completely run over this game. The damage spread pretty even as far as it goes for the Belmonts too, right? It's really hard to pick a super standout player this game. I want to nominate them all.
Yeah, I think if you're going to take game 1 into effect, then it's going to have to be Slifer, obviously.
Absolutely.
kept them in that game long enough. The game two, just, Jax was everywhere. Cho'Gath did a really good job. Once Buckby got a couple of items and was unkillable, he was basically Lucifer from game one. But instead of the rest of the team being ahead on Miami Vice, they just lost everywhere. So I think Slifer's going to have to take the MVP for the series. Game two, I would say probably the Jax. Just he was everywhere early on, just getting everything, even though he kind of screwed up and missed the grubs. And then, lost a bad fight. After that, they were able to come back and reset and get back to what they wanted to do. So my vote goes over to Slifer on the side of the Belmonts. Really, really well done by GCCE Belmont.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think this team, like, has clearly such a defined style, right? This is a team that knows what they want to do. They want to pick tanks for Buckby in the mid lane where he can make space in the team fights. They want to put Zeus on carries. They want Samurai on some form of engage, Slifer on a hyper carry, and Helium on an enchanter to protect Slifer. Like, they did it 2 games in a row. It worked 2 games in a row. I don't see them changing it up anytime soon.
No, and there's no reason to. It works. I'm assuming they did. I know they did the same thing, at least with Buckby in the last one. One thing that I would like to see is if you're going to put Zeus on carries, if you're going up against a team that maybe is a little bit better mechanically or has better, I want to see a little bit more attention paid to the top lane. Miami Vice as well. Soul Muncher in game one, Cassante was your win con. He was ahead. They never went top lane. Gank your winning lane. Get the grubs. Get the Rift Herald instead of fighting over the first dragons when you're losing in the bot and the mid. So, well done by both teams. Miami Vice, unfortunately, just, I think, overthought their draft on this one and just picked like a weird triple flex in that just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, Belmont's going to be riding a high. I believe that's another victory in a row for them now, up to 3-1 in the standings. Pretty much guaranteed to lock playoffs, I think, barring some sort of tragedy. But I also can't see them like losing out from here, right? I really think that like they will continue the streak. This team looks really, really strong. But that's going to do it for us over here at Titan. Again, I'm Mojo. That's Phil. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Have a good night.